How's it going, YouTube? Rare Phoenix here. So there are a few pointers I want to make here. Number one, I don't look the prettiest on video. I'm not the prettiest face you've seen. And that's because I do not wear that much makeup. I'm a very low maintenance person. So, as I said just seconds ago, I'm not the prettiest face you've seen, but it's just how I like it. So, please, no judgment. Some of your expectations may be so high surrounding that, like you want a more appealing appearance coming from me, but definitely today's not one of those days, so just be open-minded about it. Second of all, it's been at least 6 years now since I've done a YouTube video. Maybe a little bit less than that. Well, okay, so it's been 6+ years ago since I've last done a video in this format, almost vlogish, but this is more podcasty format. So I'm trying a different way to go about this. But officially, it's been about 2 years since I've done a YouTube video overall, and that was a animated video I've done under Game Grumps clip. Did it in my own art style. It was definitely not the greatest looking. It's definitely rough drawn. And it's still on my YouTube channel. I'll get the link down below so you can check that out. And third of all, this video is about perspective as well as opinion and having my own thoughts around it. And more specifically, I wanted to talk more about TikTok couples I've seen lately, and I've seen a decent amount. I haven't really been so drawn into their videos lately. I don't know why is that. Maybe it's just because the way they've been projected lately, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, I'm about to talk somewhat briefly about these YouTube couples that I have listed here. And like I said, it's about perspective, it's about having your own opinions and about having your own thoughts. And I wanted to clarify with you, I am a woman of simple words. Forgive me if my vocabulary isn't as extensive as I want it to be. And if there are words, like vocabulary terms within my sentences that doesn't seem to fit or doesn't make sense, you'll know what I mean. And please correct me in the comments if you can. I appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to jump into it, and I am going to do my best to be honest with my statements with each of these couples, as well as being kind about it. I'm going to do my best here. And by the end of this, I like to see what you think. Like, if you have any thoughts and opinions about them, I would like to see them in the comments down below. Let's get started. So first of all, I actually want to talk about Cameron and Mallory. Cameron and Mallory, they are a young YouTube couple, TikTok couple, and I guess I describe them as more of a power couple. My first impression on these two was a bit of like a 50-50 deal. And why that is because my very first impression that I got was kind of sad because there was struggle and hardships and pains, literally speaking, of labor and birthing. That's the first thing I've come across with these two is the process they had to undergo with giving birth to their recent little baby girl. And that outlook-wise, that may start a little rough to my eyes, but they gave a decent amount of explanation. Or as a matter of fact, they actually gave really good amount of explanation about it and their thoughts, opinions about the whole situation. And well, based on what they said, it sounded rough. And I can't relate to that situation of giving birth, at least not yet. I'm not a mom, but I can tell that looked really rough. And they, of course, are not alone on that situation. There are other couples out there who undergo difficult birthing processes. So these two are, I would say, not only young, but they're very brave and they persevere. I respect that very much about these two. Another aspect about these two I love so much is their faith. I think they're Christian, but please clarify that for me if I'm wrong. But they believe in God. And that is something I can relate to. I believe in God too. And I know religion is something that is not to be spoken of on YouTube. There's demonetization about it. So we're not going to go deep into that, of course. Just a little brief fact or a little brief explanation surrounding that would be just fine. But the other 50 that I got from these two is very sweet and pretty cute and pretty funny. Mal, while she was pregnant, she had a different kind of cravings, and it was kind of interesting to see what she was craving for. And just looking at these craving foods that her husband gave to her, they looked pretty interesting. Like, they weren't too disgusting in my eyes, and they looked good. I'm not gonna lie. And there are a plethora of couples, well, pregnant ladies. There are a plentiful amount of those people who undergo cravings, ladies. I know y'all have been there. You're still in there, I'm sure. Some of you are, some of you are not. I haven't been there yet, so I have yet to experience it myself in the future here. So I'm rather curious, but I'm rather a little nervous about it. It's a normal feeling, right? So, and Cam and Mel, they are, like I said, I would describe these two as a bit of a power couple. And I think that suits them pretty well. Like, they've just become parents, and recently. I feel like it's been months, weeks now. But I have a deep respect of the story of any, hospital or medical reasons, and they are not afraid to show their flaws. They're not afraid to tell very sensitive parts of their life. I respect that very deeply. So, and just another pointer I forgot to make earlier, that I am going to be scaling these couples on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I would never watch these two again, to a 10 meaning, oh, they're the perfect couple. I would watch them all the time. So for Cam and Mel, I'm gonna give them an honest 7.5 out of 10. They're pretty good, and I respect their content very much. They're quite adorable. And don't get me wrong, each of these couples I'm about to say are quite adorable in their own right, in their own way. So the next couple I actually wanted to bring up was Hannah and Regal. Now, first of all, I know Regal is not his real name, but dude, you should change that instead of your current first name, whatever it is. I don't even remember what it is. People in the comments, tell me what his real name is again. Anyway, Hannah and Regal. I find these two the cutest of all couples I'm listing here today. They are also Christian-oriented couple. And there's something about their demeanor, as well as the vibes going on with these two. It's very sweet, very cutesy, and it's almost tranquil. So, bits of videos I've seen with them are as follows. What I've seen so far, Regal cooking for his wife Hannah, and I'm amazed with the skills of a cook he is. I'm impressed. He makes so many great, delicious looking dishes, and he puts in the work, and I just love the fact that he's very willing to do it, regardless of his wife's situation, or if he just does it just for fun. Another context of video I see is the way Regal makes fun of Hannah, or just teases her, and it's actually quite cute. This is, people shouldn't be, or couples shouldn't be afraid about teasing one another here and there. Where's the fun in no teasing? Teasing's very fun. And if you're doing it out of embarrassment, I mean, that's kind of cute. But at least Regal is, lowering that level, that volume of embarrassment down whenever they're in public. But, he has fun teasing her. Hannah's embarrassed. It's normal. That's a normal reaction coming from Hannah. But I can tell they're both having fun. They're laughing. They're having a great time. And that's basically the premise of their videos, is they're just giggly, regardless if it was just a prank or any embarrassing moments or certain conversation, reactions, whatever have you. They are quite cute. And I don't know if some of you know, Hannah's voice, that's not quite her real voice. She has a bit of a lower tone voice, but that's her trademark. Her trademark on TikTok is this very bell kind of voice, very soft and higher. But, it matches her as a person. I mean, regardless if she talks like that generally or not, it works. And that's very cute. They are also a young couple who just not long ago had become parents, and they have a boy. Quite adorable. It brings joy into me personally whenever I run into people who just become parents. First-time parents with having one child. So with these two, I love these two. I would watch these two pretty constantly. But, everybody has their imperfections. So I definitely would give 9 out of 10. Good stuff, guys. Great job. My next couple I wanted to talk about is Lainey and Nick, or as TikTok would call it, the Churko family. Now, the Churko family has 2 girls. One's a toddler and one's basically newborn, but probably already months old already. My first impressions with these two, I was among the people who thought these two are spoiling their toddler Blakely. Like, first time watching these two, they had Blakely first, and they were loving her. They were, just giving her special attention. They were attentive to her, and they were teasing her sometimes, but, that's pretty typical parenting kind of deal. And for some of you, it's not. Looking at these two, though, some people really looked at those two and were thinking, man, they are just spoiling her. Like, why on earth would you spoil her? Or, like, you shouldn't be rewarding her for crying or something like that. Let them parent their way, people. That's my few words in response to that. With some consideration, I just have to be open-minded and look at these two and just think, well, they are their parents, this is their children, they can go about it how they want to go about it. People really shouldn't judge other people's parenting skills. Let them parent their children in this case. Who are we to judge? And who am I to judge? I can't say anything about it because I'm not a parent. Like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, I can't relate, so who am I to say? But these two, they're also quite adorable. And despite the commentary with people looking at these two thinking that they're spoiling their children so much, despite that, I'm sure behind the scenes or off camera, they are going about it as best as they can. And I think it's something people are not realizing or they're not willing to think about. They perceive this couple, parents who spoil their children, and that's that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're homeschooling Blakely, right? Somebody can clarify that to me in the comments. Thank you very much. I mean, I don't have much else to say about these two. I didn't watch very much of their videos on TikTok, but they do pop up here and there in my feed. So I'm gonna give them a bit of an honest 6.5 out of 10. I mean, I'll see a video here and there. Just not among my favorites, but that's just my opinion. So, okay, now I want to move on to Jack and Megan. Now, where do I begin? So, you have a woman with ADHD and you have Jack. Let's just put it that way. Now, I can't relate to a person who has ADHD. I think I know symptoms of ADHD. I think I know a little bit. I've seen TikToks with women, and mostly women, with ADHD. Now, what I'm getting is chaos and peace. This is a very black and white deal with these two. Very yin and yang kind of deal, for sure. Rain and sun. Megan, I would say, is the sun, and Jack is the rain. So, again, I was among the people who thought Megan was acting too childish, and she's just being too much to Jack. She's just being spoiled, and she's getting things her way, and so on and so on and so on. Once again, with some consideration and with some open-mindedness, these two are the embodiment of spontaneity. That's a big word right there. And what that is, in my definition of spontaneity, is making sure that life is not as boring. And I feel like that's probably a perfect word to describe this couple, and especially on Megan's part, because she does a lot of things out of natural impulse. She does what she does without effort, and she does this just out of nowhere, and Jack just goes along with it. But I really love the faces he makes whenever Megan kind of gets weird and kind of a bit too talkative and, kind of annoying to him. I freaking love the faces he makes. The faces he makes is more relatable. But no wonder why Megan wants kids. She has the energy for it. She's a kid in heart. very much. And she really likes to exploit that energy. And Jack, with the amount of patience he has, I find that pretty impressive. Patience, communication, cooperation, understanding. Those are just a few components that you'll need if you ever are in a relationship with someone who has ADHD or autism or other mental uniqueness. Megan, in her own right, is mentally unique. Jack, he's Jack. I respect deeply the fact that they are not afraid to make their marriage very much alive. Like, they're not afraid to put a lot of life in their marriage. I can tell these two don't like things to feel boring or standard. I feel like, generally speaking, whether it's on camera or off camera, they live life to the fullest. So I went from a more cynical to a more open-minded kind of person with these two. If my perspective didn't change because of that, I would have given them like a 4 out of 10, but instead I'm gonna give them about a 7 out of 10. Good job, guys. I would love to see more of the sincere videos. I do appreciate more genuine videos. I hope you do more of those. I know I've seen a few. Okay, so next couple I want to talk about is Victor and Marquis? How do you pronounce that name? I'm sorry. Okay, whatever the pronunciation is, I think I'm just gonna go with Marquis for now. What's strange to me is that I actually have a bit more input on Victor than I do on Marquis. I will say this with her. Marquis, I can tell she's an honest person. I can tell she's very wife material. You've seen their videos. They already are taking care of kids before they got married. I find that very brave. You're taking care of kids, you're cohabitating before you get married. Again, respect. And I'm gonna keep saying respect here and there because that's what everyone deserves, is respect. I'm gonna repeatedly say respect, respectfully, or respectively. Apologies for the repetition. But anyway, so I believe they have 2 boys. I think they had 2 boys together. What I actually really appreciate about these two is the ethnicity difference. So of course, Marquis being white and Caucasian, and Victor, he's African American. There should be more couples who are different in race and in ethnicity. It makes it fun. Makes it a whole new different experience. It's weird that I don't have much intel on Marquis, but I do have a little bit of information on Victor. Now, dude, first of all, go Pack Go. Love the fact that you are a Packer fan. You love watching football. So do I. And NFL season is coming around the corner too, so I'm sure you're really excited about it as much as I am. Really appreciate the Packers representation in your TikToks. Second of all, so I wonder, you were giving these over-the-top reactions to her whenever she was in something beautiful or she was on something sexy, and you gave these really over-the-top reactions, and I thought those were kind of fun. Like, you do those here and there, as I noticed, but you did that more often before you got married. But then after you got married, how did you become more aggressive? Now, what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you're being mean. By aggressive, I mean, how did your tone of voice become over the top silly to aggressive and cautious, I guess? I think there's better words to describe your recent videos lately, but I do appreciate that there are videos with Marquis' sister, and you know, she's a bit of a toss-up to me. There's either those videos where she's kind of like defending either one of them towards the other, like she's either defending Victor from her sister, or she's defending her sister over her husband. I just don't understand those. And then there's those videos where Marquis joins Victor and has a little fun, dances around, you know, very brother and sister-in-law bond. Those are the kind of videos I like to see more when you're collabing with relatives. I say that all this with all due respect, and that's just what I've been noticing lately. I feel like there can be more ideas into the mix. Like, I guess my thoughts, or my one idea I have for you, Victor and Marquis, is to make collab videos with other TikTokers, as well as more like very fun dance videos, I guess. I can tell between Marquis' younger sister and Victor that they have like different styles in their dance. Yeah, they sometimes do like one TikTok trend dance, and then there's something different within their moves that's a little different about them, if you get my drift. Overall, I mean, these two I can cope with. I do not want to be a woman of criticism. I do not want to be a cynical one, but these two are okay. I can cope. So I believe I gave a 6 to a couple, 6.5. I'm about to give these two a 6.25. All right, my next couple, I've been thinking about this couple for a little while. A part of me wanted to talk about them so bad. These two, of course, are Austin and Lexi. So you got yourself a princess as well as a simp. I say princess because they're not married yet. So, and when they do get married someday, they're king and queen. King, simp, queen. And these two are so unique. So this is just a thought process. When I saw these two for the first time, I thought Lexi came from like a modeling studio. Like she's very model-esque. And Austin, in a way, I feel like Austin, he came from like a theater, like Times Square Theater. I have a bit of a theory that Austin was in theater before, and then he decided to change his interest to photography. Still in the arts, but different style of art. I feel like his simping behavior is coming from theater, which is fun, and I love theater. I love people with good theatric skills who are so flamboyant in their bodies. They're so on point, and their improvisational skills are over the top. And I feel like Austin is a man of improvisation towards Lexi, especially in like serious situations. You know how like women ask their men certain like very unnecessary questions about certain things, like how they are dressed or what food they should eat, and it's kind of getting to me, but I can't criticize that either. I love every single one of their videos, regardless if it's a prank video, if it's a Q&A, if it's something a more serious level, celebrating an anniversary, whatever. I love their videos. I think they're among the most enjoyable couples I've ever watched. Personality-wise, they're so different, and there's not a lot of guys who would simp for their partner. Austin has a willpower to be that for Lexi. Not only do I think she's spoiled, but she's spoiled in an amazing, unique, weird, funny way. Like, there have been moments where Lexi asks Austin to do something for her, and Austin gives a little bit of brief information and reasoning behind his answer as to whether he's gonna do it or not, but he ends up doing it most of the time, right? Or all the time. Man, I love these two. I hope they come to the top someday as a YouTube and TikTok couple. I definitely would give these two a 9.5 out of 10. They are so fun. They are hilarious. And I love Austin's logic about certain situations and Lexi's pranking ideas. They are fun. Well, moving on. Andy and Michelle. Now, these two are Asian descent. My first thoughts with these two is just one is very over the top and one is more realistic. I think that's their main trademark in their videos, is one being energetic, sometimes whiny, very like high pitched, and the other is being realistic. You know which is which. Personal preference wise, it's not as attractive to me. You know, there are certain videos I've seen with these two. Among one of my favorites that they've done in different styles, different formats, is like how like Michelle makes Andy laugh or Andy makes Michelle laugh. I like those. Those are wholesome and those are quite fun. I love the questions that they give to one another, like out of curiosity. They ask curious questions to one another and they're just like, so I heard that blah 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 blah. Is that true? And they're just like, yeah. You should do more of those too. Those are pretty fun. Those are pretty great. They're quite honest too. I appreciate TikToks that are quite honest and has a little sense of realism as well as comedy. And I think those are the kind of types I prefer. I am my own person who has her own likes and dislikes within the context of videos. But I mean, they've also done videos where they give each other gifts, you know, just like unexpected gifts. And I like a good giving a gifts just because, or it's like on a special occasion. And that's very sweet, especially the one where I remember that Michelle gifted Andy Lakers tickets, very front row seats to a Lakers basketball game. Y'all should do that more often, regardless of budget. And I know you guys have done videos regarding anything around budget. You guys should do that more often. It's quite sweet. I find it a little hilarious with Michelle being like a hyperactive one and Andy being more calm and realistic, and that's already giving me Jack and Megan vibes already, and I find them not bad. So I'm giving these two like a 7.5 out of 10. So last couple I wanted to bring up was Abby and Matt. Now, just recently, they have another kid. They have another boy in their family. These two are young. They're like my age. And who am I kidding? A lot of these couples are around my age. And I think Lainey and Nick are a little older than that. Abby and Matt, they have a podcast channel. I think it's called The Unplanned Podcast or something like that. I feel like these two are probably the most realistic couple I've seen. Their videos, their TikToks are very slice of life. They are very much like, come with me on this journey. Come with me through the day of how we're going about taking care of our kids. They're very step by step, and they're very walk you through kind of couple. Neither of them are over the top. Neither of them exaggerate themselves. Like, they're pretty transparent. They're staying pretty true to themselves, to the audience. They really like to give inside stories about what is happening in their lives. You know, they're storytellers, and I think that's great. And it's a lot to talk about. They're not only inside storytellers through their TikToks, they're storytellers through their podcasts. They tell some information regarding certain areas within the family. With Abby's parents, is that right? Abby's parents moved to their house recently, and some people think that's a bad idea. How do you know it's a bad idea? It was their idea. You may think it's not a good idea. I think it's fine. So just leave it at that. Criticize all you want, but nothing's gonna change. Just let it go. Let them be what they want to be, or leave them the kind of living that they're undergoing right now. Just leave it at that. No criticism, please. No judgments. No more of that. In another video, I actually kind of want to discuss more about judgmentalness and criticism, as well as cynicism. That'll be another video. So Matt and Abby married when they were what, like 20 and 21? In my past years, I would view it as very odd, but looking at today's society, it's fine. Like, people are getting married much younger than early 20s. It's the new norm. And again, I still find something like that very brave when you get married really young and you start to have kids really young. When I think about the ages between 18 to 25, that age gap right there is that era of figuring yourself out. You're figuring out what you want to do in your life. You're finding your purpose. And I stand within that era right now, and I am certainly not alone on that. I truly believe Matt and Abby has found their purpose. I'm sure they've mentioned it before in one of their videos that they've always wanted to become parents. It probably was just a surprise to them as much as that it was a surprise to us as their fans that they became pregnant young. It's a nice surprise. And Abby and Matt, I mean, you are doing a great job. You already have 2 kids. You guys are I feel like you guys are very honest with your thoughts and your processes, whatever you're going through. So please keep it up. We would love to hear more inside stories, or, you know, any events or is there any milestones that have reached already? Please share some more. Who doesn't love milestones of a child? When your firstborn son, Griffin, when he reaches his first milestone, do not forget to feel accomplished and proud of yourselves. Feel rewarded. Feel good about yourself and what you've done for them so far. I know each of you give your children so much love, the love and respect they deserve. And please love and respect yourself. If I were to list 8 to 1, my number 8 choice would probably be Victor and Marquis. My number 7 choice would probably be Lainey and Nick. My number 6 would be Andy and Michelle. My number 5 pick would be Cam and Mel. My number 4 would be Abby and Matt. My number 3 would be Jack and Megan. My number 2 would be Austin and Lexi. And number 1 for me is Hannah and Regal. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. And again, as I stated before in the beginning, this is just my opinions, my thoughts. my perspective. I enjoy watching TikTok couples. I guess I like to watch their videos on a certain degree, like depending on what their videos surround. I hope you enjoy watching this video. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. This feels like a whole new look for me. The video format just feels very new, very like amped, and very much more clean and clear. Certainly not perfect. Let me tell you, there's a lot of audio cuts in between. There's a lot of video cuts. I'm sure I had to make a lot of edits in between. There was a lot of pauses I had to make when I was thinking before I said it. So I apologize for the cuts, the editing in between my videos if there's like a lot going on. So, but I'll get there. So I very much appreciate you guys watching this video. Click like and subscribe. And in the words of Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. See you later, guys.